All right, so Sony came out with their brand new 2021 lineup. The 2021 lineup consists of the X90J, the X950J, the A8J, the A90J, the Z9J, right? And this is what they call their XR line. Fantastic, okay? The XR is supposed to be cognitive technology. The big draw with it is that, nobody really knows what it is. Nobody's ever seen it before, and it's very similar to their XR technology right now. If you recall, their chip is X Reality, and now they have some new technologies where they're like, XR upscaling, XR contrast, XR Triluminous Pro, XR motion clarity. But we don't really know how much of a difference that is over the current XR, which has always stood for X Reality. So, I mean, they really got to do better marketing than that because it's just fucking lazy at this point. Now, one of the things that really kind of triggered me and set me off is the way that they wanted to get on camera in this little green screen room or whatever, wherever they're at, and then talk about this is one of the first products that they've made with the new normal, right? And the new normal restrictions. And it really bugs me because, stop trying to get pity for the pandemic, okay? Stop trying to get people to identify with you and use the virus to get sales. That's slimy shit, Sony, and I really don't fucking like that. Because in the same breath they're talking about the new normal restrictions, if it's something that's so safe and you guys are being so safe in your factory and you're taking it seriously, which, by the way, I highly fucking doubt, because, look at them right now doing what every fucking person right now talking about the pandemic does. They sit up there and talk about new normals as they sit less than 6 feet away from each other, stand less than 6 feet away from each other without a mask on. Either you take it seriously or you don't. Either you mask up and you do everything 100% of the time the way you claim to do it, or you stop capping. Because that's what I see right now. And I'll just leave it at that. And also, what I'll say is I don't like the way that they're treating people this year. There's a lot of arbitrary forcing into certain things, and I'll get into that. Okay, so the one thing they're forcing you into is upgrading your stand. You now have, upgrading your size to get a better stand. So for the X950J or the X95J, you don't get the center position to, again, put it on a smaller media console or credenza if you have, 65 inches. And that's such bullshit because for the 75 and 85 inches, most of those people are wall mounting any fucking way. But they get the middle position. All you get is the soundbar position and the really flush tabletop position at the 65-inch level. That's total bullshit. Another thing that's bullshit is if you want a 55-inch Sony X95J or X950J, you can't buy one. It starts at 65 inches, or at least so far as the information they've released so far. That's disgusting, man. Because you know what that means? That means now you have to step down into the X900J. Well, what does that mean? Well, already out the gate, you're going to get a cheaper remote. It's made of hollow, cheap plastic. They're not trying for you in that regard. And, another thing that really bugs me is that, they this year want to add back the metal remote on the X95J, the X950J, right? And it's backlit this year, which is cool. But, they should have had it last year on the X950H. And the fact that they didn't, it proves that it was just a blatant downgrade to force you into buying more expensive, more premium items before you get that back. Now, thank God they listened to feedback. I believe I'm the only one, by the way, providing that feedback that they need to at least add back the remote and not hold you back and arbitrarily force you to upgrade a remote tax, basically, to get a remote. So that's nice that they listened to that part. But it's total bullshit that in the same breath, they're like, okay, but here's what we're going to do. You don't get it unless you buy the 65-inch, which we know with Sony pricing is going to be overpriced as fuck because that's just how Sony is. They're very greedy out the gate with a lot of these TVs. Now, I could be wrong, highly doubted, but I feel like they're going to target really bullshit pricing. Another problem that I have is that this year, it's only full array. So you've got mini LED wars about to take place with TCL, Hisense, Samsung, LG. Sony is the only fucking brand without a mini LED TV this year. Let that sink in. I don't feel like they fucking tried at all. I feel like this is lazy. I genuinely feel like they said, you know what we can do? We can come out with some technology to play to our strengths. Depth enhancement. But their current TVs already do an immaculate job with depth. I don't know a single soul alive that ever looked at a Sony TV and said, you know what I need? More depth. I'm not complaining that we're getting more depth and more textures and reality, but at the same point in time, don't make that your core focus because your problem, Sony, is your backlight implementation. It's fucking trash. You have blooming, you have bright spots, and you have a poor level of quality control when you talk about the uniformity on these sets. But they're not addressing that. Samsung out the gate with their Neo at least talked about blooming, at least mentioned it as a problem. Sony didn't even fucking address it as a problem. That's a disconnect from the value that consumers put into this kind of stuff at this high-end niche level of consumer markets that we're in. And that's the problem I have with Sony. They're very disconnected from their core audience. You know, you've got Samsung over there with a solar-powered remote that can be recharged via USB-C, which, yes, after, again, waiting for more information to be unveiled, sadly, by the influencers that were flown out to there and got to get hands-on with that stuff, because everyday people apparently don't rank that, right? So, you know, after getting that information, yes, they do have USB-C. So, yeah, all you people freaking out in the comment section, I'm not Vincent Teo, okay? Stop freaking out. I don't get VIP treatment, so it is what it is. But at least Samsung has USB-C and solar power, and they're trying to do new shit. Sony's just like, you know our old remote from last year, the metal one? Yeah, we're going to just give it back to the 950 owners, and we're going to make it backlit. You're welcome. And I don't think that's good enough. I think Sony is, again, really fucking lazy. And again, one of the things that really pissed me off is that this year, now, you don't get the anti-reflection technology that they're advertising on the 65-inch X950H or X950J. You also don't get the X wide angle anymore at the 55 or the 65 inches. It's bullshit, dude. So the 65 inch has been downgraded to now you don't have X wide angle and you're not getting a new reflective technology. It seems more to me like they're taking things away for the sole purpose of making you upgrade into their absolute largest screen size so they make the most profit hand over fist, but that's not a way to capitalize the market. Now, the good news for people out there who were waiting for this is that all the XR Sonys will have 4K 120 hertz, VRR, all that stuff. That's fantastic. But again, that stuff is not going to fix those transitions. Like I was saying, and I don't know, everything gathered up into one place as you really look at it, Sony did their bare minimum. They're broadcasting, or rather they're advertising their freaking streaming service, which is their Bravia Core. Nobody gives a shit, right? I'm sure most people by now already have their designated streaming services like Hulu and so on, right? And when they're not doing that, they're talking about Google, pushing Google. Like, nobody likes Google. Everybody's been talking about how they want a different operating system from Android. I've literally always seen that every year Sony's made a TV. They don't care. They haven't mentioned anything about that. They didn't talk about peak nits of the television or how bright it is or isn't going to get. They didn't focus on the core things that consumers care about. They're just pumping out shit. And whether they can perform at an excellent level, and these are the best Sony TVs they've ever made or not, the fact is the marketing and their approach to the consumer is so disgustingly disconnected that I'm disenchanted entirely by Sony. They had a boring press conference where they didn't really touch on anything, and a green screen room where you had this lady like capping her ass off, sitting as if she's sitting in front of the TV to create some illusion for you. It's annoying, man. It's like they're just glorified actors is all they are. They're glorified actors trying to get you excited for a product, and that shit doesn't work on me because I know the game very well, you know? Now, to a positive note here, I do like the fact that they tried to add better designs on the back of the television, you know, with their grid pattern that they always go for, which honestly to me just looks like a checkerboard. I wish they'd start doing a little bit more, but it is what it is. At least they're trying. Ultimately speaking, though, I'm not really, again, all that impressed with what I've seen from Sony. I think their pure stream technology is very cool where, you know, they'll give you up to 80 megabits per second, making sure that you get very crystal clear streaming. But again, if it's like, you know, their IMAX Enhanced or their Netflix calibrated mode where you only get it through the built-in apps, it's a fucking useless feature because nobody wants to go online and be forced with those god-awful Sony updates that ruin your product, as we've seen time after time with these Sony updates. And that's another thing. I haven't heard a single manufacturer yet talk about these updates that they keep pushing out that destroy the TVs. So, I mean, I don't know, guys. You want my opinion on it? I say it's definitely better than 2020, which was a shit year with absolutely zero standards for anything being set. But going into 2021, Sony so far is the laziest brand out of every brand that I have seen. The absolute laziest, doing the absolute least, thinking that they can go straight up Sword Art Online on you and go, oh, we have cognitive AI technology. Nobody wants that. Have you seen iRobot? Like, fuck out of here, dude. Like, you need to start connecting with your people better, Sony. You don't know what you're doing. You might want to hire somebody to advise you better, because that whole engagement, that whole presentation was trash, and you're trailing behind LG, you're trailing behind Samsung, and they by far are winning right now in terms of excitement with QNED and Mini LED. And I'm going to just leave it right there. But that being said, I do want to hear your thoughts on the matter. Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.